I returned to my birthland for a funeral before Christmas. I fled a revolution where over 37,000 people were massacred in a matter of days, but hidden by the internet blackout. I am writing this in honor of those brave protesters who fought. My homeland, Iran, has been ruled by a theocratic dictatorship for 47 years, a regime built on fear and exporting terror. I opened my eyes in a country where the system does not simply rule you, it molds you. It feeds you false morality and punishes curiosity, while your family, terrified for your safety and your future, chooses silence. If they tell you the truth, you are taught early not to run your mouth freely, not in public and not to strangers, because anyone could be watching, anyone could be their puppet. In the 80s and early 90s, I didn't know much about the world, or even our glorious past. All we have learned was through systematic brainwashing, gender-segregated schools, propaganda on television, lies dressed as truth, manufacturing blind followers for twisted plans. But many of us were never good at accepting meaningless religious sermons. We questioned what didn't make sense, and we always paid for it. We grew up learning fear, mistrust, and pain. Fear of the police, those meant to protect you. Mistrust of everyone around you, because you never knew who was a friend and who was an informant. Pain for everything we could have had, but were never allowed to have. Things like safety, happiness, love, enjoying your youth, having a bright future. These weren't things we understood the way someone in the modern world does. Just imagine, music was illegal. So were Western movies, chess, card games, talking to the opposite sex, women showing their hair, or even wearing makeup, men wearing jeans or even shorts, questioning religion, dancing, laughing, even reading books translated under the previous regime. All were forbidden. So our teenage years were lived on adrenaline and fear, breaking rules just to feel alive. Listening to music in secret, dressing up behind closed doors, dancing in silence, falling in love quietly, passing forbidden books hand to hand, stealing moments of happiness like contraband. In my 20s, the first civilian protests took shape. We were excited, hopeful. We believed we could fix the broken system. We believed more freedom could be earned. We believed the future could still be rewritten. We were beaten instead. Our peaceful demands were rejected with brute force. But that's the strange beauty of being human. Once you glimpse the light, you cannot forget it. That protest died, but the fire in the people didn't. Every few years it returned, stronger each time, and every time it was crushed harder than before. As the years passed, the protests grew, so did the brutality. The regime stopped pretending. They killed protesters with live ammunition while the people held nothing but stones. The world stayed silent. Human rights organizations condemned. That was all. Oil, power, politics mattered more than people's blood. You might believe innocent lives are priceless. To those in power, they are just numbers. My wife and I left Iran in my late 20s to build a better life, but our hearts never left. Neither did our families, neither did our friends. We returned before Christmas 2025 for the funeral of someone dear. And then it happened again. This time, it was different. I heard anti-regime chants echoing through the streets. I heard screams. I saw rage. I felt desperation. I smelled gunpowder and tear gas. People had given up on reform. They wanted nothing less than a regime change. It wasn't a protest anymore. It was a revolution. A revolution to bring the exiled prince back to Iran. I joined it, and I can't fully describe the horror. This wasn't a protest people in the Western world are used to. It was even worse than war. In war, you know who the enemy is. Here, you didn't. Yes, you avoided soldiers and armored vehicles, but that wasn't enough. There were intruders among us. The man beside you could be one of them, the one guiding you to safety, the one helping you stand. Anyone could be a trap. Someone could stab you quietly from behind, shoot you from a meter away from what looked like an ordinary civilian car, or lead a group of innocent protesters straight into slaughter. In those moments, my life flashed before me. My wife, my family, my loved ones, even my cat, Lord. Everything I had, everything I could lose. And I confess this with a broken heart. I wasn't strong enough to let go of it all, so I ran back to safety. I have been writing a story about someone with power, someone who fights injustice and protects the weak, but that's not what a hero is. The real heroes are ordinary people who put their lives on the line for a better tomorrow, for a day they may never see. Those who stayed and fought while I was seeking safety. They are the heroes, fallen, wounded, or still standing. The government shut down the internet and all communication. Silence became a weapon. In that silence, the protesters were massacred. No one knew what was happening, only rumors of mass killings. Then slowly, through the blackout, the truth leaked out. Over 37,000 people have been slaughtered, and the number keeps rising. The wounded are still being killed in hospitals to spread fear, to teach everyone a lesson. I have seen videos of families searching for their loved ones through piles of bodies stacked on top of one another. I've heard a father screaming his son's name, Massacre, while searching through hundreds of body bags. I have seen a wife lay her face against the cold face of the one she loved, a sister lying beside her sister, holding her lifeless body, mothers dancing at their children's funerals, not in joy, but in defiance of a lifetime of stolen happiness. What a sad dance it was. I heard the story of a wounded survivor who pretended to be dead inside a body bag for 3 days, afraid of receiving the final bullet to the head. But the horror had one more layer to reveal. The regime's killers demanded huge bullet fees from grieving families, charging them for the ammunition used to murder their loved ones before releasing the bodies. Please don't let this crime be washed away. Be their voice. Be our voice. One survivor has posted in his social media, "I'm still alive just because I had better shoes."
در سکوت شب خانه زد فریاد اما تو نشنیدی دل به پایت افتاد آرزو کردم بعد از تو عاقل شوم آشنای من غریبم بی تو با خیابان ها من رفیقم بی تو بعد تو عمرن من دگر عاشق نشوم تو رفتی دگر